Hey, Matt and Todd, Pete Mitchell here. Thanks for being patient with me as I got this over to you. So I just kind of want to give you a quick little breakdown of what I see as your opportunities and kind of the direction that I would take if you and I were working together, and then what it would be like to actually work with me. I'm sure you'll have plenty of questions after this, and I'd be more than happy to talk with you about those. So anyway, 3 areas of concern that I see right now. This is what we've already kind of talked about. Number one, getting the right people into your funnel. The biggest problem, of course, is you don't have the strategy up and running. This is really, in a lot of ways, a brand new endeavor. And to get that up and running, there are a lot of moving pieces that need to be created. And it's not just that they need to be created. They need to be crafted in such a way that it gets the response that we're after. So part of what we need is what I call the mini-series event email sequences, your ongoing emails that need to go out, white papers on the subject, the webinar that we're going to use to convert people, things of that nature. And all of those need to be constructed in a very specific manner where they're not going to deliver to you the results that you're looking for. So that's the first problem that we've got. The second problem is the follow-up. This is where all of the money is made. And I mean all the money, because the money is made and lost in follow-up. Most people just do not follow up enough. They don't have enough pieces in place. And once you get someone into your funnel, man, you got to stay on top of them. So we've got to think through the process of how buyers are treated, how non-buyers are treated. We want to have video testimonials, which right now I know you're not going to have a lot of that stuff, but we do need to have content emails, educational content that is delivered in multiple fashions, via video, via teleconference, etc. And we need to have that stuff so that way we're constantly adding to it. I mean, it's a never-ending process. People always ask me, hey, if I get all the marketing set up, then I'm done, right? I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way. We have to, I call it plugging holes in the system. As you continue going down the path, we'll be like, oh, you know what? Here's another area that we could be getting more business if we plug this hole over here. And so we're always plugging holes in the follow-up sequences. And then, of course, the third thing is we got to automate everything. So all you got to do is focusing on closing the client. If you've got an automated prospecting system where the people who are coming to you are already predisposed to do business with you, you got half the battle won. So then all you got to do is close them, push them over the edge, and then at the same time, in your case, you've got to also then fulfill on that. So hopefully we'll be able to automate much of that, the fulfillment process, as you progress. And if that means hiring someone to have them actually do that work, so then all you got to do is focus on closing. That's the best scenario all the way around. So let's just look real quick here at getting the right people into your funnel. One of the first things that I do in this is I'd be running Facebook ads, and I do a lot of Facebook advertising specifically to the church market because that's where I do a lot of my business. And I'm going to tell you right out of the gate, you're going to need to have at least $2,500 to spend on Facebook ads because you're going to have to get things rolling. And I'm not going to tell you that, oh, if you got $300 to $500, it's going to work. It's not going to work because there's a big, learning curve, if you will, going from zero to closed, and we got to get the right people into the funnel, and that's going to take some money because we're going to have to reach a lot of people to get them into the funnel, to get the right people into the funnel. So I'm going to tell you, at a minimum, you're going to want $2,500 budgeted for that. I would personally say, if I were doing this in your shoes, I would have at least $5,000 set aside for my first month's worth of Facebook marketing because I know that's what it's going to take. I'd say at least $2,500, but if I were doing it, I would have $5,000. So obviously, the more, the better. And I'm not talking about money that you pay to anyone other than Facebook, just the Facebook hard costs of running ads. And then, of course, the second area that we kind of talked about is joint ventures. The beauty of doing joint ventures is you're not paying until you're acquiring the client. So obviously, that can be better for you because now you don't have that expense up front. You're just paying when you've actually collected money. Number two, looking at the follow-up. So we need to have the white paper or free report, consumer guide, whatever you want to call the thing. And you want to, in this thing, address the problem that they're facing head on and show why what you've got is the logical choice and the logical solution. There's a way to write it correctly where it's not just educational. It's what I call educational marketing material. It is educational, but it is absolutely marketing material. We are setting ourselves up as the logical choice to do business with. The other thing that you need to have is the perfect webinar for closing a church. You're going to do this both automated and live webinars. I like to do them live until I get them really good, and then I automate the stuff. Automated webinars can be going all the time, and then we can run ads. It says to agents, it should say to church elders, deacons, boards, things like that, to get them on the webinar. And in your follow-up, I'm going to tell you, you want to be texting. Emails, it is so hard to get people to read their emails, and that's why we text so stinking much. So you want to have a texting system in play for your business. Number three, automating everything. So you've already got Infusionsoft, which I would say is like the number one thing that you need to have. The second thing is a texting platform, which I'm going to show you one here in a second, that all my clients get to use because I actually paid to have it built out. And the beautiful thing is it totally integrates with Infusionsoft. And of course, we need to have a way to take those Facebook lead ads and automatically plug them into our automated system in Infusionsoft. Those are software pieces that are already out there and available. Let me just show you real quick the texting platform that I use. This is what I had built out for me. So let me go ahead and just log into this one right here. So what we're able to do with this is we can send out text messages via our Infusionsoft campaign and get sent out to the person. And so I can say, hi, Eric, I just sent you the info for today's call. You want to have that in front of you for the call. So he replied back, I haven't received anything. I just resent it. Looks like you entered a typo for your email. So we're able to have this conversation, and we can go back and forth and just communicate. And that's the way a lot of people like to communicate, and we get so much better responses. But the beautiful thing about this system is if we just simply click on their name, it's going to open up our Infusionsoft, and so we can actually look at our client and be like, okay, this is what's going on with this person. This is where we're at in the process. It saves our whole text conversation to their notes. So if I ever need to refer back to it, I can do that and see, okay, this is what I said, this is what they said, back and forth. So it's really a really cool system that we've got. This is something that I had built out specifically for me, and I obviously let my clients use it. It uses Twilio as the phone carrier. And if you don't know much about texting, the beautiful thing about Twilio is they are 3/4 of a cent per text, in or out, so less than a penny. So if you load the thing up with like $30, it's going to last you for, I don't know, a couple of years, unless you're like dealing with thousands of people, which, that'd be kind of cool. Then that, less than a cent a text is really nothing when you got that much business going on. And so let me show you the final thing here, which is how I work with clients. Of course, this is what everyone wants to know. So I've got a couple of different options here for you. Option number one, when I do a consulting agreement with a company, it's always a 24-month agreement. I do have a review provision in it at 6 months and at 12 months. I want to make sure that the person I'm working with is actually implementing what I'm telling them to implement. It's a $2,500 a month retainer plus 5% of the new business. And I was telling you before, I'm not exactly on the cheap side, so that might be like a deal breaker for you guys. And you go, hey, that's just way too expensive. I totally get that. Option number two is what I call the done for you with consulting. And so this is even more expensive. However, I do everything. So I'm going to work with you on your key content, but I'm going to put together all of the emails. So I'm not just going to consult and tell you what needs to be done and review the work that you do. I'm going to actually do it for you. So that means the webinar. That means the text messages. That means all of the email follow-up. It literally means everything that we need to get this thing up and running. And of course, it's always a consulting agreement. So after 90 days, then that starts in with the monthly retainer, which is only $1,500 a month. It's a little bit less expensive because I've already done all the work. So now it's just the ongoing maintenance that we need to do. And so it's $1,500 a month plus 5% of the new business that we bring in. Option number 3 is what I call the VIP boardroom package. This is something that I was actually thinking about. And I was even thinking about my guys who I train to do what I do. And I was like, you know what, though? They're still not that cheap. And I'm not saying that you guys are cheap, but I know what it's like when you're starting out a business. And it's like every little expense counts. So I totally get it if option 1 and 2 don't work for you. That's why I put in here option number 3, the VIP boardroom package. So what I did was this last... I believe it was February, the very last week of February. Me and a buddy of mine, we got together with 10 other people in Phoenix. And I basically rolled out to all of them everything that I'm talking to you about that I would do for you. I rolled out to them how I do it in my business, giving them examples of my webinars, of all of my emails printed out for them, my Infusionsoft sequences, my text messages, my landing pages. I basically gave them everything that I do in my system, which is exactly what I would be doing for you. And I just said, here, guys, you can take this and implement this yourself. So if you feel like, hey, we've got the skills where we could do it ourselves if someone just told us what we needed to do, this might be a great option for you. So this isn't consulting. I'm not going to be working with you one-on-one. It's $5,000, but you get the whole kit, and you get access to me via what's called the Voxer app. So Voxer is a free app for your iPhone or Android or desktop computer, and you're able to just basically send me voice messages anytime you've got a question, and I'll get back to you just as soon as I can, which is usually within the day, but certainly within 24 hours. But it's the way that I can help you. And what comes with this is our twice-a-year mastermind group, which right now we've got about 10 guys in it, but you never know if they're all going to show up. So there's about 5 to 10 guys. And the next one that we're doing is in June. We don't have the date set for it yet, but it's in June. And you guys that have access for the 2 of you to come through that, and you get to come to both those masterminds. So the benefit to you in that is you get to bring up what you're doing in your business, and everyone else in the group, which incidentally are all consultants, they're going to be able to tell you, hey, this is what I would do in your business. This is what I would do if I were you. Now, I want to be clear. These are not all Christian guys. So, I'm sure you guys have your big boy pants pulled up, but I just want to give you that heads up. No one there is crass or anything, but I'm just telling you, this isn't a group of Christian guys meeting together. This is just a group of business guys who get together, and so sometimes they will be really harsh on someone and just be like, "Look, this is a bad idea. This is why it's a bad idea, and here's what you need to do to fix it." And they're meaning it in love, but just understand, it's not one of my groups that is just pastors only or anything like that. Just want to give you a fair heads up on that. But that is, I think, might be a great option for you. It's just $5,000, and it comes with the year mastermind group. And of course, if you wanted to stick with it after that, you're more than welcome to do it, and you can come through it for $5 every year. We never raise the price on you once you've been grandfathered in. But there's nothing that says you have to stay with this. It's just I know you're going to get enough value that you'll probably want to stay in the mastermind. So anyway, those are 3 options for you. Just wanted to send that out to you. If you want more details on any one of these, I'm more than happy to talk with you guys about it. But that's just to give you a good heads up of what it's like to work with me. Thanks a lot, guys. Talk to you soon.